Hi everyone, so here I am with part 2 of this epic DVD haul that I just had. This one will certainly test movie buffs to see how many of these movies you know. So yeah, as I mentioned in the last video, this was quite an epic day. It involved me getting on a bus, getting on a ferry, going for a long walk. So yeah, quite a long day to get all of these movies, but well worthwhile. So here we go. First up from 1955, we have I Died 1,000 Times with Jack Palance and Shelley Winters. This is a reworking of the Humphrey Bogart movie High Sierra. Next, a Western, and we've got Oliver Reed, Candice Bergen and Gene Hackman in The Hunting Party, directed by Don Medford, and with music score by Riz Ortolani, who's done quite a few spaghetti westerns. From 2002, we have The Twilight Samurai, which is directed by Yoji Yamada, and this one stars Hiroyuki Sanada, who's currently starring in Shogun alongside Cosmo Jarvis. Next, a 50s double bill here. We've got Thunder Alley and Fireball 500 with Annette Funicello, Fabian and Frankie Avalon. Next, a bit of Fox Film Noir, House on Telegraph Hill. Next is this interesting one from writer-director Michael Tolkin, which stars Mimi Rogers and David Duchovny, The Rapture, involving a mysterious cult. Next, from director George Roy Hill, this is John le Carré's The Little Drummer Girl, with Diane Keaton and Klaus Kinski in this. Saw this one at the cinema. Next, if you get the Sidney Lumet box set that's just been put out by Imprint recently, it'll include this film, The Deadly Affair. This is also a John le Carré adaptation, a great multi-cast in this that's headlined by James Mason. Another one directed by Sidney Lumet, and this is adapted from the play by Anthony Shaffer. This is Equus, starring Richard Burton and Peter Firth, Harry Andrews, Jenny Agutter. Some of you may know that Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe, took to the London stage a few years ago to do a version of this as well. Documentary feature here from 2006. This is Deep Water, and this is about Donald Crowhurst, who took part in the first solo round-the-world sailboat race. This has also been made into a feature film called The Mercy, which starred Colin Firth. Next, absolutely one of my all-time favourite silent movies. This is Sunrise from 1927, directed by F.W. Murnau. The technical skills involved in this film are absolutely staggering. Beautiful movie. Next, from director Charles Burnett, this is Killer of Sheep, a very highly praised film. I think it features quite highly under the Sight and Sound poll, if I remember rightly. But yeah, this is a nice DVD edition that also includes another Charles Burnett feature, which is My Brother's Wedding, as well as a number of short movies as well. Next, from 1985, directed by Frank Rodham, who also directed Quadrophenia. This reunites him with Sting, and we also have Jennifer Beals here. This is The Bride, based around the Bride of Frankenstein. Had a real critical mauling when it came out, but yeah, I thought this was quite fun to find this. And then another movie that didn't get a very good critical reception when it came out, but this one stars Cyndi Lauper alongside Jeff Goldblum and Peter Falk in Vibes. Next, a movie from French director Jacques Rivette. I love his movie La Belle Noiseuse. He also has Celine and Julie Go Boating in the Criterion Collection, but this is Le Pont du Nord. Next, from British director Peter Watkins from 1967, this is Privilege. Peter Watkins perhaps most famously directed The War Room. He's a bit of a blind spot for me. I haven't seen any Peter Watkins films, so I look forward to this one. Next, a British interracial drama from 1961 and directed by Roy Ward Baker, who also did Quatermass and the Pit and A Night to Remember. This is Flame in the Streets with John Mills and Sylvia Sims and Earl Cameron. Next, haven't seen this since the cinema back in the 80s. This is Alan Parker's Birdie with Matthew Modine and Nicolas Cage. Next, we've got Best of the Best. Coincidentally, someone commented on one of my videos recently when I'd mentioned that I thought Eric Roberts gave one of his best performances in Star 80. They suggested that actually Best of the Best was his best. So yeah, here we go. From 1966, and kind of in the vein of a John le Carré spy thriller, this is The Quiller Memorandum with George Segal. And from John Landis from 1985, we've got Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer. Look how cute she is there. Yeah, always had the soundtrack for this one, B.B. King on that one. But yeah, good movie. Next, from 1976, and from director Rainer Werner Fassbinder, this is I Only Want You to Love Me. Next, back to Fox Film Noir, a really great movie this, starring James Stewart, directed by Henry Hathaway, Call Northside 777. Next, this is an intriguing one, directed by J. Lee Thompson. This is Return from the Ashes with Maximilian Schell and Samantha Eggar, and it concerns a man who has remarried thinking that his wife died in a concentration camp, only for her to later return to his life. Next is another Sidney Lumet film, which you will also find in the imprint box set if anyone's picked that up recently. This is Child's Play. So yeah, not the little doll murderer, but this is a movie from 1972 with James Mason. Okay, now just a few other movies that I picked up elsewhere. Actually, my sister sent me this one, Tati Danielle. I've never seen this, but I've always had the poster for it, funnily enough. A really wonderful Powell and Pressburger movie, I Know Where I'm Going, with Wendy Hiller and Roger Livesey. Then we've got Robert Zemeckis' first film, Beatles related. This is I Wanna Hold Your Hand, produced by Steven Spielberg. This movie is available in the Criterion Collection. And a Korean movie here from writer-director Kim Ki-duk, Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter and Spring. Nice movie this, Take This Waltz, directed by Sarah Polley, and it stars Michelle Williams and Seth Rogen, who, funnily enough, appeared as a couple again later on in Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. This movie also stars Luke Kirby, who is really fantastic as Lenny Bruce in the TV series The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But yeah, really good drama, this one. I enjoyed it a lot. Next, from writer-director Bruce Robinson, who did Withnail and I. He works again here with Richard E. Grant in How to Get Ahead in Advertising. Next, from 1977, I've got Ants with Linda Day George and Robert Foxworth. Now, I already have Tarantula, the Deadly Cargo, which is a similar sort of TV movie from the 70s, and I just love these kinds of movies. They're quite trashy, really, but just an enormous amount of fun. Not at all scary, and as I understand it, a lot of black rice was used in this film to represent ants. Next, haven't seen this since the cinema back in 1999, but this is Henry and June, starring Fred Ward, Maria de Medeiros and Uma Thurman, and it tells of Henry Miller, the writer of books such as Tropic of Cancer, and his liaison with the poet Anais Nin. This is based on her book. Next, a cult movie from director Karyn Kusama. I really didn't get on with this very well when I first saw it, but I'm going to give it another go. This is Jennifer's Body, starring Megan Fox. Next, from 1981, we've got The Incredible Shrinking Woman. So yeah, not The Incredible Shrinking Man. This is a comedy with Lily Tomlin and Charles Grodin. Again, not one I've seen since the 80s. And then finally, and possibly ending on a bum note, this is A Sound of Thunder, a sci-fi movie that's directed by Peter Hyams, but it seems had quite a lot of production problems, so may not be very good. But yeah, stars Edward Burns and Catherine McCormack and Ben Kingsley. Okay, movie buffs, so how many of those were you familiar with? Please let me know in the comments if you know these movies, if you're familiar with them, if there's any that you want to see, any that intrigue you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Please do join me again for some more videos. Hope to see you again. All the best to you. Bye-bye.